Have you ever wondered why so many people over 60 live with high blood pressure, even while taking multiple medications every day? What if two simple natural habits, intermittent fasting and kefir consumption, could help regulate blood pressure without the harsh side effects of strong drugs? In the United States, nearly 2 out of every 3 adults over 60 have hypertension. According to the American Heart Association, it's often called the silent killer because it damages the heart, kidneys, and brain without obvious symptoms. But both new scientific evidence and ancient practices point to unexpected solutions. Intermittent fasting and kefir, a centuries-old probiotic-rich food, a respected 95-year-old Chinese physician with decades of clinical experience, has stated that these two habits have been essential in helping thousands of patients maintain vascular health and longevity without relying exclusively on medication. Today, you'll understand why these practices make sense, how they work together, and what the latest studies reveal about their effects on blood pressure after age 60. If this topic matters to you, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who also needs a more natural way to manage their blood pressure. As we age, the body undergoes changes that directly impact the cardiovascular system. Arterial walls, once flexible and elastic, become stiffer. This natural hardening, known as arteriosclerosis, restricts blood flow and forces the heart to work harder, increasing blood pressure. Hormonal balance also shifts. The production of nitric oxide, a natural vasodilator that helps keep arteries relaxed, decreases with age. This reduces the body's ability to regulate blood pressure effectively. Another key factor is insulin resistance, which becomes more common after 60. Studies published by the National Institute on Aging indicate that insulin resistance contributes to chronic inflammation and sodium retention, two elements that raise blood pressure. Body composition changes as well. Loss of muscle mass and increased visceral fat promote an inflammatory environment that directly affects vascular health. These changes are not always noticeable day to day, but their cumulative effects are serious. And while medications can help manage symptoms, they don't address the underlying causes of these age-related shifts. That's why natural interventions like fasting and kefir stand out. They work at the root of the problem. How fasting helps with blood pressure. Intermittent fasting has been increasingly studied for its positive effects on metabolic health, and these benefits are particularly relevant for those over 60. Far from being just a weight loss strategy, fasting directly impacts the mechanisms that regulate blood pressure. During fasting periods, insulin levels in the blood tend to drop, and this has a direct effect on the blood vessels. Elevated insulin is associated with increased sodium retention and stiffening of the arteries. When insulin levels decrease, the body begins to regain insulin sensitivity and eliminate excess sodium more efficiently, which supports lower blood pressure. Fasting also promotes the production of ketone bodies, which have anti-inflammatory properties and help protect the endothelium, the inner lining of the blood vessels. This reduces oxidative stress and improves vascular function, two critical factors for those dealing with or aiming to prevent hypertension. Research conducted in the United States, including studies from the Intermountain Heart Institute and the New England Journal of Medicine, has shown that people who practice regular fasting have a lower risk of developing hypertension. These effects were observed even among individuals with genetic predispositions or who were overweight. However, it's important to emphasize that fasting must be tailored to each individual's needs. After age 60, the body can be more sensitive to extended periods without food, especially when medications for diabetes or hypertension are involved. That's why it's advisable to start with light fasting, such as a 12-hour window between the last meal of the evening and the first meal of the next day, and gradually increase, while carefully monitoring the body's response. When done mindfully and with proper guidance, fasting not only helps regulate blood pressure, but can also enhance energy, focus, and overall well-being. The role of kefir in cardiovascular health. Kefir is a fermented beverage rich in probiotics, originating from the Caucasus Mountains, and has been used for centuries as a functional food. More recently, science has begun to validate many of the health benefits traditionally attributed to this drink, particularly regarding cardiovascular health. As we age, the composition of the gut microbiota changes significantly. The diversity of beneficial bacteria tends to decline, and this has a direct impact on inflammation, metabolism, and even blood pressure regulation. Kefir, which contains a wide range of live microorganisms, including lactobacilli, yeasts, and bifidobacteria, works by restoring balance to the gut flora. Studies published in the Journal of Dairy Science and Nutrients have shown that regular kefir consumption can lower blood pressure in hypertensive adults. The mechanisms behind this effect include both modulation of the gut microbiota and the production of bioactive peptides, which act similarly to ACE inhibitors, a class of drugs commonly used to treat hypertension. Additionally, kefir enhances the absorption of key minerals such as magnesium and potassium, both essential for blood pressure control. It also helps reduce systemic inflammation, a major contributor to arterial stiffening. For people over 60, kefir offers another significant advantage. It is generally well tolerated, even by those who are sensitive to lactose, since the bacteria consume much of the lactose during fermentation. Daily consumption in moderate amounts can be a safe and natural way to support heart and vascular health. It's important to remember that kefir's effects are neither immediate nor isolated. It should be integrated into a broader lifestyle that includes a balanced diet, stress management, and, as we discussed earlier, practices like fasting. When used consistently, kefir becomes a powerful ally in preventing and managing hypertension. Although intermittent fasting and kefir have been studied separately for decades, more recent research has begun to explore the combined effects of these two practices, especially in older populations, and the results are promising. A study conducted by the University of São Paulo, in collaboration with US-based research centers, found that the combination of light fasting and regular kefir intake led to faster improvements in insulin sensitivity and a significant reduction in systemic inflammation. This combination works through two complementary mechanisms. Fasting allows the body time to reset its metabolic systems, while kefir provides the microorganisms that restore and protect gut integrity, a key axis in blood pressure regulation. Furthermore, ketone production induced by fasting appears to interact positively with the microbiota supported by kefir, creating a more efficient and less inflammatory metabolic environment. This synergy has a direct impact on blood vessels, helping to preserve arterial elasticity and endothelial function, both of which tend to decline with age. While long-term studies are still needed to quantify the effects across different population groups, the consensus among researchers is clear. When combined safely, fasting and kefir represent a simple, accessible, and low-cost strategy to promote cardiovascular health in older adults. What's most compelling about this approach is that it doesn't require radical lifestyle changes. Many participants in these studies reported that simple adjustments, like delaying breakfast by 2 hours and drinking a glass of kefir in the afternoon, were enough to notice improvements in energy, digestion, and blood pressure control within a few weeks. While these practices are not a substitute for medical supervision, they can serve as a powerful complement for those seeking to age with greater autonomy, reduced dependence on medication, and improved quality of life. Managing blood pressure after age 60 is a common challenge, but it doesn't have to rely solely on medication. As we've seen, intermittent fasting and regular kefir consumption offer a solid and natural foundation for restoring metabolic and vascular balance, addressing the root causes of the issue, such as insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, and the decline of gut microbiota diversity. These aren't miracle solutions, but they are powerful tools when integrated into a consistent lifestyle. Most importantly, they are accessible, safe, and backed by solid scientific evidence. For those looking to get started, the recommendation is straightforward. Begin with a light 12-hour fast. For example, finish dinner by 7 p.m. and have breakfast at 7 a.m. At the same time, incorporate 1 glass of kefir per day, ideally in the afternoon or after lunch. Pay attention to how your body responds, and, if possible, monitor your blood pressure regularly. Adjustments can be made based on your tolerance, always under professional guidance, especially if you're on medication. Adopting these habits can be a turning point. More energy, better digestion, deeper sleep, reduced bloating, and over time, more stable blood pressure. This isn't just about preventing disease. It's about building a daily routine that sustains longevity with vitality. If you found this content helpful, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who could benefit. Your action could spark a quiet but powerful transformation in someone else's life.